mornings in Bombay are very different from the way we are experiencing here in Velatur. What is a morning like for Bala?
There is no luxury of sleeping late. Unlike cities where you may tend to get up late and therefore your day may start late, whereas in villages, day starts early.
Right.
And second, the very fact that we are talking at the river front,
Yeah.
and the villages come take bath in the river, and then the rest of the day starts. So this is a typical rituals. The day begins and continues throughout the day, 360 days. Nothing changes, whether it is summer, winter, or rainy season. It's all remain the same. So that's the beauty of village, the life and the village culture.
And but this is not a typical morning for you, right? Because when you are in the city and you are going about with your day, tell us a typical working day morning for Bala.
So I'm used to starting early and then reaching office early. So the early has remained constant throughout. And of course, since you are in the capital market, as you get up and then finish your morning rituals, which of course you can't be more than say 10-15 minutes doing puja and so on and so forth.
Right.
And of course tracking the market. See, ultimately being in Bombay, being in the financial market, what is happening around the economy, I think is more important than what is happening around you. So therefore track those macro variables.
Right.
It would have changed overnight because at the end of the day, India is now getting integrated with the global market.
Absolutely.
Therefore, for me, you need to be up to date in terms of what's happening around. So that's something you spend some time. And then start leaving home before the traffic begins. So I always have the tendency to beat the traffic,
Right.
not by driving fast,
Right.
by leaving early, so that you are in office on time. And therefore the punctuality has always remained one of my
Absolutely.
key focus area.
Yeah, we know that, of course. I mean, your punctuality is something we have seen at first hand. You are someone who is always on the go. You pack in so much in a single day, a karma yogi in a sense. What would be your advice to professionals in terms of effectiveness and time management so that they can also meaningfully contribute to the nation?
Every individuals have got certain duty to perform.
Yeah.
And all such duties have to be performed not only effectively, it also need to be done in a time-bound manner. So the lesser the carry forward that we have, higher the output, higher the effectiveness. So the question is keeping the task one after the other, and then effectively focusing on how to get it done. If it is not getting done, how to get it done with the team. If it is done, then looping back people. So in this process, you are able to take care of the whole ecosystems. That effective communications within the team, the work life, in work environment or in the offices. I think that itself will bring in the effectiveness. From the nation building point of view, of course, every contribution coming from every single person ultimately leads to the effectiveness or productivity, I call it. Therefore, it contributes to the success. The higher the success of individuals, higher the success of organization, higher the success of organization, higher the success of the industry, higher the success of the industry is the higher the success for the nation. Everything is linked into each other. And from professionals, definitely the knowledge has to be imparted. I think the most important, as we doing after all this, doing all such things, the imparting of knowledge. The imparting knowledge can always come through educating people, give your knowledge that you have gained over a period of time to the youngsters, so they gain that knowledge, they get the wisdom, basis which they get better, they are able to deliver better, and so on and so forth. So nation building, the only question is how do you see it? So everybody cannot be building nation by being part of Delhi, certain offices and so on and so forth. So the various education institutions are there, various social activities are there. So one can always contribute in addition to what they already have. I think the one way you can say is the professionals, when they start contributing more on imparting of knowledge or participating certain national event, social events itself will contribute to the overall success, and their contribution towards nation also will increase.
Right. Sir, to build a strong Bharat, public and private forces need to come together. And India's Amrit Kaal, as you know, has been named Kartavya Kaal. How can corporate India contribute and collaborate to fulfill its Kartavya?
I think one of the area in my view corporates are doing lots of stuff is about the CSR.
CSR.
See, one first and foremost, the corporates participate in the Amrit Kaal of the Government of India's initiatives, which is making it India self-sufficient in every manner. Make India is one of the largest economy in the world. It has to have a good participation between public and private and NGOs, right? All the three work together
Right.
in making India prosper. In this process, you have corporates also are here to make profit. At the same time, they are here to create employment. They are here to create commerce to do much better. Therefore, the companies does well. And as a result of that, the social contribution which can come eventually from the corporates, I think, can quite significantly. See, the largest employment today is one is for the government of the India and state governments. The second largest, but the largest, of course, is the private sector only. So the job that can be created itself will be sufficient enough to increase their contributions.
Right.
Yeah.
And uplift the nation as a result.
Yeah, even groups like us, Aditya Group, employs close to about 7.5 lakh people, easily keep going up,
Right.
which essentially means doing a lot of good for people in the country. Therefore, there are many such companies, corporates, who employ a large pool of people.
Yeah.
So, we are making living for them. As they making living for them, their life standards improves. As their lifestyle improves, they start contributing to the economic growth in the form of GDP contribution, so on and so forth.
In addition to all the taken up.
That is still very small component of the overall good that they are doing.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So how do you think organizations uphold their value through responsible practices like good governance?
See, first and foremost, carrying out whatever needs to be done in the best interest of the shareholders, other stakeholders, employees, and investors. So, first of all, carrying out with 100% diligence. Therefore, doing your carrying out every activities of yours in the best interest of the ecosystem, which is more important.
True.
I think our industry is regulation. Right? Regulatory framework defines various things which is the best interest of investors. Therefore, how much I am able to deliver, keeping in mind the spirit of the law. So that's something which I think an organization have to do, and
Giving back to the industry itself.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately that's where all our commitment lies.
Yeah.
Being customer obsessed and customer
absolutely,
focused.
yeah.
True.
the customer is the king, right? At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
whatever we are doing, because the customer is having a trust on us.
Yes. Yes.
So therefore, to ensure this trust is not broken,
True.
and that delivering itself, having that responsibility and accountability, thinking itself would be sufficient enough to deliver effectively on this. Yeah.
So, how can the younger generation participate in the spirit of Jan Bhagidari, as it's called now? Because it's after all a collective responsibility to build the nation.
I think from youngsters' point of view, they are in a sweet spot. One, they are born in the digital world.
Yeah.
So therefore, they can say they're born with the mobile types. So therefore, their learning curve will be much faster than the learning curve of people of the past. So that's something, it's the advantage that they have. And it's also a fast-moving world. And third is the startup. Today is the startup world as well. I think not just only startup world is not something meant only for overseas. Even for India as well is applicable. And it's a world of innovations. Therefore, from youngsters' point of view, build that optimism, that convictions, that as a nation, once it becomes the larger, and since nation's age is about 27 average age, I think their contribution to the nations will be quite significant than what it was in the past. Therefore, the youngsters in having that optimism and having a feeling of that they can, of course, prosper in life much faster than the earlier period, and therefore the contributions can quite significantly increase by becoming more wealthy and probably you'll say knowledge wise more richer. But that itself will give them a huge uplift. But the question is that they need to build that high level of optimism, high level of confidence, high level of convictions, and have strong will. Yes, we can contribute. I think that willpower has to become basically rediscover your own energy and then unleash their potential
True.
in the larger interest of themselves first, and therefore contribute to the overall ecosystems.
And intent is more important.
Yeah.
True.
So you have been in the industry for almost 30 years. So what do you think, how can the Indian financial industry undertake to become a key driver in the Kartavya Kaal, to bring in sustainable growth and financial independence?
The financial situation in the country has to become widespread. Now today, finalization, of course, is becoming one of the bigger theme because money is the one of the most raw material for every household. The wealth effect should get equally distributed across. The gap between the rich versus the poor has to narrow, which is nothing but per capita income has to rise. The only way they can do is, I think, as an industry, is also to make an attempt, is to make every household to be a part of the financial market. And mutual fund is one easy route in which every citizen of the country can participate in the India growth story. So, which essentially means Sahayog, which is basically every person start thinking that I do provide employment for 1 or 2 or 3 people in every household, and ensure not only I should become investor, and I should also make my employee also become investors. Everyone has got employee. Even a non-corporate structure at individual level, there is an employer and employee relationship.
Absolutely.
Assuming each one of them are take care of their employer and employee relationship, as a company does it, then the wealth effect increases. So therefore, the per capita income rises, and the wealth effect gets distributed across the country. Not necessarily how to take from rich to poor. I think in the whole country itself, when it moves up, and it will be a larger scale benefit that could come. I think that should be the approach one should take. And my view is, I think at Aditya Salam Mutual Fund, launch schemes like Sahayog, SIP, all meant towards that. And very fact that we are providing 100 rupees SIP, it is only to the people who cannot afford 1,000 rupees per month SIP, when their salary levels are say 600 rupees, 700 rupees.
Right.
But 100 rupees they can of course contribute. The power of compounding that could come out of such investments over a period of 30 years, it will be quite significant. Given the fact that the cost of living, which is generally reflected in the form of inflation, also is on the rise.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for all those insights. May we all become more responsible citizens and be duty bound towards nation building, because when Bharat grows, we grow.
Exactly. If India grows, we grow. If India grows, global market grows.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.